Hey guys, welcome back to another video and happy Monday. So I follow a few YouTubers on here, and just like you, I'm trying to get different perspectives, to get more information, to see if I'm missing something, to learn more, or sometimes to just feel better about my own situation. But lately, something that I have noticed is more and more videos are becoming very emotionally charged, emotional, and the latest thing is trying to collect good vibes in order to improve the situation. I guess we're all tired of what is happening in the industry and has been happening for the past 2 years, and now we are relying on the collective power of positive thinking to manifest a better situation. Now, on this channel, I made it a point to try and focus on facts and figures to back up arguments, and when I can, doesn't always work, I try to stay away from the emotional thought processes. So today let's talk about facts and figures, emotions aside, and see how we got here and what is currently happening in the trucking industry. Ready? Let's go! So first, let's talk about the reality of what we have right now. And here is a chart from Sonar. So the blue is the total trucking authorities, the MC numbers, and white is the total freight volumes. Now, this is from 2019 until now. And what you can see is that authorities, while they have been going down, are 38% higher than they were 5 years ago, while volumes are only 3% higher. Now, the capacity, you see that line, it grew to meet that ridiculously high volume from mid-2020 to the beginning of 2022. And these volumes were caused by the fact that people were prisoners in their own homes, bored out of their minds, and started buying crap that they didn't need with the money that was given to them by the government. These volumes were also caused by the fact that retailers started panicking because the demand was increasing, but they were afraid that they won't have enough inventory because of all of those shutdowns. So they started ordering a ton of things just in case they sell out. My point is, while volumes right now are relatively normal, if we forget about the black swan event that happened from mid-2020 until 2022, the capacity in the market is absolutely abnormal. And while it has been decreasing, as you can see, from around November of 2022, the rate of that decrease is extremely slow, especially if we compare it to how fast capacity increased and reacted to the lack of supply back in 2021. So the next question is, why is capacity leaving so slow? Most of us are struggling to keep afloat right now. So why is capacity hanging in there? Now, we have two types of people in this industry. We have the people who have all their equipment paid off, but the majority of people have equipment that is financed. And that makes it even harder to break even. Forget about making a profit. So why is capacity decreasing so slowly? Well, let's go back to what happened when capacity increased in 2021. People were going insane. All they could think of is buy as many trucks and trailers as humanly possible in order to get a piece of this pie called the trucking industry. And we are going to buy these trucks and trailers for any price it is given to us. Now, as you can see, this is from ACT Research. This crap continued until prices hit their highest point in April of 2022, where a 3-year-old truck on average cost $144,000. A 4-year-old truck cost $112,000 and a 5-year-old truck cost $90,000. Now, question for you, what do you think people at that time bought new trucks for? Well over $250,000. And because, for a lack of a better word, we are sloths when it comes to reacting to a bad situation, all of these folks who got their equipment at the peak started making their payments for those overpriced trucks just as the market started showing signs of deterioration, that's a hard word to pronounce, with the rates. The diesel prices started climbing, and so did the cost of everything else because of the inflation as well as the consumer price index. So now we're in a situation where a lot of people who bought their equipment at the peak are stuck with those outrageous equipment payments and are willing to work for almost nothing when it comes to profit just to be able to pay that equipment down. And some, as I already mentioned in one of my previous videos, are ready to hire drivers and work for a loss with those trucks as long as that loss is less than if that truck was just sitting with those fixed expenses. So why can't they just sell their equipment and get out? So I'm going to attach it again. Look at how equipment prices have dropped. So the amount people actually owe on their equipment right now is often much more than what they would be able to sell it for. And people definitely no longer have a savings big enough in order to pay to sell their equipment. So they are forced to either keep running until the market does finally get better, or to file for bankruptcy, which we all know can really screw up the credit history for years. So many people are just choosing to trust the process, hope for the best, take a chance, if you will, rather than making a decision to get out, knowing full well that the repercussions are not going to be pretty. All right, final chart, I promise. So the question is, what about the market right now? Is it better or worse? So this chart looks at rejections for all three equipment types. We have blue, which is reefer, red, which is flatbed, and green, which is dry van. And the first thing you will notice is year to date, reefer rejections are down by 22%. Flatbed rejections are down by 13%, and dry van rejections are down by 16%. However, there's something that FreightWaves mentioned, and you can see it on these charts right here. I quote, "Tender rejection rates have become increasingly volatile, caused by various outside influences. These have caused short-term bumps in spot rates, as any chance for rate reductions is largely in the rear view, and those still searching for aggressive rate reductions will be challenged in the back half of the year." In other words, some analysts do believe that the floor is behind us. However, that is very different than saying that the market is about to make a significant turn. It just means that there is a chance that it won't get worse than it is right now. So now going back to those folks who are so exhausted of what they have been put through in the past 2.5 years, and those folks relying on the power of positive thinking and manifestation in order to change the situation, I get it. I am definitely not judging. And while I do strongly believe that there is such a thing as luck, I rarely rely on it. My mother often gets pretty angry with me, saying that I don't leave room for miracles because I plan everything out to a T. And if you were to ask me, and I'm a pretty rigid person, even though I don't seem that way, we need something to significantly move in order to see a significant change. Now, if you're waiting for a change that will happen at the same level that it did in 2021, you are going to be waiting a very long time. But in order for there to be a little bit more of a balance, we either need the volumes to increase, and those are driven by the health of the economy, both in the US as well as in the world, or we need capacity to start decreasing significantly. That's it. Those are the only two factors that can change the rates we see right now in the market. But those two factors are influenced by a slew of things: the world economy, import levels, consumers, sentiments, elections, wars, and so on and so forth. We also have to consider the fact that FreightWaves was right in saying that the market is very reactive right now. So there will be moments when there are huge upwards jumps in rates, and there will be big falls in rates, and they will happen fast and they will not last long unless one of these two factors change: volumes or capacity. So this is not an advice video. This is definitely not a judgmental video. You guys need to do what makes you the happiest you can feel, but always try to mix in some critical thinking. I might be, and actually I am, very rigid in how I run my side of things. But since the moment I started forcing myself to stay up to date, not just with trucking, but the world news, the economy, everything, somehow my luck has improved. I do believe that knowledge is power. And as my father always said to me, People can steal pretty much anything from you. The only thing that they cannot steal is your knowledge. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic start to your week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and definitely keep learning. See you in the next video.